Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem El Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Most High is only coming for the elect of Israel. The elect includes the 12, which represent, which are part of the 144,000. The first 12 will be the apostles, the 12 apostles. They are part of the 144,000. In other words, they are part of the elect. Let me just put it to you that way. They're part of the elect. So it starts with the 144,000, 12,000 out of each tribe of men. And then the rest of the elect is in Revelation 7, verse 9, which includes men, women, and children, which also includes your family members in your immediate household. If your mother's living with you, she accepts the truth, and your father, they can be saved. You have a wife and the children, they all believe, they can be saved. And if they don't believe, they can't see it. When all hell breaks loose, they will believe. It's gonna be a major shakeup when they issue that charagma, and there's going to be a lot of the main people that's going to protest the charagma, the MOTB, will be these so-called European white, because a lot of them are Jake, the Bible Belt, Bible believers in the Midwest and the South. If you ever been down to the South, the South and the Midwest are very Christian-based, Bible-thumping, born-againers that believe in the prophecies. And I'm gonna say this. This is the Spirit speaking through me. That a lot of these Edomites that watch our videos, they're really learning. When they watch our videos, at first they're mad because we're racist, this, that, and the third. But then it's like a splinter in your mind where you got to watch the next video. So they're watching these videos and they're looking for a loophole to get in because they believe they're Edomites. Because a lot of them are not Edomites. A lot of them are Jakes. This is why, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, in my opinion, my humble opinion, some of these Edomites that come to the different camps, they know where you set up camp out. They watch you on YouTube, and they come and ask you questions, and they act like they just was walking down the street. No, they watch you on YouTube. They know where you're located at. Oh, they're on Main and whatever, Main and Broadway, right across the street from the what do you call that? What's that called? The coffee shop. I can't even think of that. Starbucks. So right across the street from the Starbucks and the movie theater down there. I know exactly where they are. So they get their precepts together, come down there, and they're mainly coming down to show that Gentiles can make it because they believe that they're Gentiles. Some of them are Gentiles. Some of them are Edomites. But a lot of those people that come down there and are sincere about this thing, some of them are actually Israelites that look like Edomites. But anyway, the title I gave this video is, if I didn't, kind of going fast, is Christianity is nothing but white supremacy. If you go to any Christian church, it's all about who's in the heavens first and foremost, right? So in Christianity, because I was a Protestant. All right, I was the same religion as Vocab Malone. You could say I was a Calvinist. Okay, my parents were Protestant. Okay, because they said we're not. They would say you're not a Roman Catholic. The truth ain't in the Roman Catholic Church. He said we are Protestants. Okay, I remember on Channel 9 in the tri-state New York area, tri-state area, New York, Connecticut, Jersey, mainly New York. I was in New York. Channel 9, remember before cable, you had the Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 5. You had the Spanish channel, Channel 6. I think you had 2 Spanish channels. You had Channel 9, Channel 11, Channel 13. And that was it. We only had about no more than 10, 11 channels. And back then, I remember when we had the black and white. I remember when we first got a color TV, you know. But anyway, on Sundays, right, they would have all day on Channel 9, if you're in the New York area, the whole day, because that was considered, they were pushing that Sunday Sabbath a lot. And you had the Blue Laws. The Blue Laws represent, you can look it up, it represents, Sundays, everything is closed because there's the Lord's Sabbath, which is a Sunday. So on Channel 9, but there was other channels, I believe, but Channel 9, all day, it was just religious shows, mostly Edomites. Rex Humbard, what's his name? What's his name? Jimmy Swaggart, which he might be I believe he's a Jake. Hey, that guy, that was Jerry Lee Lewis' cousin. He said in that movie, if you watch Jerry Lee Lewis, the movie, the opening scene, or the almost beginning of the movie, maybe the opening scene, you see Jerry Lee Lewis as a kid, and the guy next to him is his cousin. That's Jimmy Swaggart. And Jerry Lee Lewis was going to the church because the rock and roll came from the Christian church. Rock and roll, R&B, all these music genres came from the church, from the gospel. Rock and roll, R&B, all those songs come from the church, man. They all come. All these great singers, Jake great singers back in the day, they all come from the church. Your current singers, they all come from the church. They sung in the choir. And they the most wickedest people out there. The Christians are the most wickedest people out there. But anyway, in that movie, I believe it was the opening scene. It was the beginning of the movie. They're at the church and they're outside the church, and there's a black church somewhere down south. And you got the piano going and the organ, and people are hitting the tambourines, and they're singing. They're sounding good. The choir going, and Jerry Lee Lewis is getting all into it, and Jimmy Swaggart, he's looking at his cousin. He said, "Let's get out of here. That's the devil's music," and that supposedly really happened because Jimmy Swaggart years later, he used to talk about that. He used to say, "Yeah, my cousin Jerry Lee Lewis." And in the movie, they showed Jimmy Swaggart as he grew up. He was a preacher, which I believe they did Jakes. I could be wrong, but I believe they did Jakes. But we'll see. But you had all those different Rex Humbard. You had Osteen, which his son. He got a mega church in Texas. But I remember his father. I remember before Osteen, the young man, before he was even born. So he took over from his father. What other guys? Help me out, y'all. They had the whole day was religious shows back to back. Then they started letting Jake in. Oh, The World Tomorrow with this guy. What's this guy? He had The World Tomorrow. I'm trying to think of his name. He died years ago. I can't think of his name. But he was kind of biblical, but he pushed that what do you call it? British Israelism. He went into the tribes. He had the book he broke down the 12 tribes. I actually ordered that book before I came to the truth. And he was saying the tribe of Manasseh with France or whatever, and the whites in America, they were all white. Like the 12 tribes was in different parts of Europe, and that's British Israelism. And you can ask Vocab. Vocab knows all about it. He speaks about it every once in a while. He doesn't get on them. There was a I'm kind of ranting, so bear with me. My head is my mouth is going faster than my brain, or vice versa. But anyway, you see this picture right here. This is clearly an image of white supremacy, but they're not going to be called out on it. Nobody's going to call out the Christian church saying the Christian church is white supremacy. Where's the black person? Where's the Puerto Rican person? Where's the Chinese person? Where's the African person? Where's the Arab person? Look at the guy in the middle. That's supposed to be Jesus. And all you niggas in Israel that calls on Christ, you're really following this guy. You can't get Christ, the white man, out your fucking mind. That's why Bishop Nate almost got took out, because he kept calling on Christ. And then when he got better, he got out the hospital, Passover 2022. I'm rambling, I'm ranting. 2022, he had Kanai call on Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and he stumbled over the name of Yahweh Shai, and he called it, and Bishop Nate said Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. I got to say that puts hairs on these guys' necks. He's talking about us. We are his conscience. GMS is the conscience of the IUIC. Okay? So look at this. I'm looking for a Puerto Rican. I'm looking for a Mexican. I'm looking for a Ishmaelite. I'm looking for a Moabite. All I see is all white people with long hair looking like hippies. And any of you coons out there, by the way, they all got leprosy. The clean lepers. This was a symbol, like this woman right here. They use the woman like here. There was a symbol for. There was a term called the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine, in a nutshell, is about the white man venturing out, because it started with the 13 colonies out of Britain, Great Britain, right? They broke off. There was a saying, "Go west, young man," because that's where opportunity was, and they had the big gold rush. So there's a famous picture of an Edomite woman flying in the sky as an angel, and you got, I believe, the cavalry. I'm trying to put it in my mind, the picture, and it says that's like a artist's rendering of what the Monroe Doctrine is all about. And before the Monroe Doctrine, you had a series of papal bulls from the popes out of Spain. The power came out. It went from Rome to Spain. Rome went down, and when Esau came back into power, it came out of Spain. Christopher Columbus was a Spaniard. He was a Spanish Jew. He was not an Italian. But anyway, the blessing that Columbus got to go to the New World was the blessing from the king and the queen, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. They would Aragon was one of the countries, but they would bring two of the. If you go into history, Aragon was one of them. What they did when a father goes with another father, and they kings on either side of their region or whatever, what they'll do is they'll have them marry their sons and their daughters to each other, and that would bring and that would make the state bigger. So that was the joining of two states. Aragon was one of them. Help me out the other one, y'all. But during the time of Columbus, this was the 1400s. We started going down. They started coming up in the mid 1300s. That's when they started coming up, because they officially Esau was officially dead. When I say dead as far as power is concerned, like we're dead today. Baruch said the dead Israelites. It officially started. The official date was 325 A.D. Constantine the Great, which was a Jake. And by the way, to give credit to High Priest Kazak, and High Priest Shia, they came up, that whole icon, the black icons thing, the spirit got on them to bring it out. But they became the scripture. Paul said, "At least I become a castaway." So they got cast away. So now, if Gazak and Shai and the seven are saved, that's between them and the Most High. That's between them and the Most High. The scriptures speak about turning your back on the plow. So he turned his back on the plow. So anyway, what I'm saying is pretty much Revelation chapter 20. Another one of my favorite chapters in the Bible, or breakdowns, prophetic breakdowns. That's one of my favorites. Revelation 18 is another one of my favorites. I get more into the prophecies. We're in the spirit of prophecy. The testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So the thing that we're mostly going to do is prophesy, right? So anyway, that chain being lifted on them, and they were not able to deceive the world for 1,000 years until the 1,000 years was done, and after that they will come out for a small season, which is from the time of Columbus up until now, about 500 years. And they deceived. They when they went to the New World, what did they bring with them? They brought with them Christianity. Their form of Christianity, which they got from Jakes. They didn't bring Islam, they brought Christianity. So, and they brought with them the Renaissance, which came out of Europe, which came out of Spain, destroying the icons. See, back then, everybody knew that the saints of the Most High were so-called black people of color. Everybody knew that the Messiah was a so-called black man. Everybody knew that the Most High, if he came down in physical form, he was a so-called black man. Here you got the Christians trying to debunk that. Oh, the woolly hair, this is not talking about the texture. The Most High is not going to send his son, glorified son, with leprosy. Okay, that's just stupid. So you're looking at this picture, right? This is clear. They're not going to nobody's going to call any Christian church racist. They're not going to call them racist. All you coons that follow, one of them coons died. If you go to Vocab's page, Nati, she was diagnosed with a brain cancer tumor in the brain, and she wound up dropping dead. So if you watch the latest video, that was at the woman, but she's an Israelite, so she's good now. She's good now, but she was a fool back when she was alive. So he's, Vocab is giving her tribute. The Most High she didn't have the truth. She was a blind. Now she has the truth. She sees. He knows that that we are the Israelites. She now knows Vocab Malone is Satan. She knows that. She's free. She's good. But all you coons that join up with guys like Vocab and Christianity, all of you believe when you die or when the kingdom comes, you're going to have to take a back seat to so-called Europeans, white people, Edomites. This is all, this is nothing but Renaissance art. That's all it is. Renaissance art in a nutshell is to destroy the so-called black images and put up white images of all the saints, the angels, the Most High, the Messiah, the disciples. You'll be in heaven, but you're gonna be in the back of the bus, which is bullshit. The ruling class of the people of the kingdom of heaven are so-called people of color, people of Negroid and Indian descent in North, Central, and South America, and we are also scattered around the whole planet Earth. So you're going down. Now, a precept that comes to mind, well, one is Revelation 20. They'll not be able, I'm merely paraphrasing, after 1,000 years they should be loose. In that 1,000-year period, they shall not deceive the nations anymore. But when they're loose, they're going to be free for about 500 years. And even more than 500 years. Because 1492, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, 2090 is a little bit less than 500 years. If my math is correct. I'm sorry, let me see, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 1492, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, a little bit more than 500 years. So they're spiraling down, they're circling the drain. You can see what's happening in America. When I was a kid, America wasn't like this, man. You didn't see people going in the stores, rob. Shit is crazy, man. And this is why the Most High, if you put in the word violence, the first scripture to come up is Genesis. I believe it's Genesis 5, Genesis 6. I can go to it, but I'm not. Where it speaks about violence. And the Most High said he's gonna destroy the world because of violence and corruption. Well, this is that same spirit coming back. Stay away from the so-called black woman. She's a hoe. You got to watch women, period. But if you're going to deal with any woman, don't deal with a so-called black woman. There's a new thing now where you got these women, mainly in Atlanta and other places in Babylon, where you got women suffering from parasitic diseases. And doctors are saying the only way you can get this particular parasitic, ailment is by eating shit, meaning they're doing a thing called rimming. And this is a thing that Edomites been doing for years, where you licking a woman's ass or a woman is licking your ass, and they licking the shit. If there's a little shit, they licking that up too. So that's what your black women are doing. Your black women are fucking hoes. In the hip hop world, they're a fucking bunch of hoes. They're a bunch of degenerates. Scriptures speak about in Jeremiah, degenerate plant. Hold up. Degenerate plant. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me go to that. I'm a little all over the place. I want to look up the word degenerate. Jeremiah 2, if I'm not mistaken. There it goes. Go right to the point. Jeremiah 2, verse 21. I'll start at 20. You can really read the whole chapter. Yeah, Jeremiah, that's a beautiful book. It says, for of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou broken thy yoke, burst thy bands, meaning when we were in captivity, the Most High took us out of captivity. So we're banned or bonded, and yoked by this man. Now you tell the average nigga he a slave. He ain't no slave. Ain't no chains on me. Nigga, there's paper chains on you. It says, I will not, in the form of adhesion contracts, which are applications. The application is a contract. I will not transgress when upon every high hill and under every tree thou wandereth playing the harlot. And what does it mean by being a harlot? meaning Israel was dealing with other philosophies. It says, yet I had planted thee a noble vine, royal, holy and right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? This right here shows you that Romans chapter 11 being grafted in is referring to Israelites that don't know that they're Israelites coming back into the fold. And we all been grafted back in. So I want to look up the word degenerate. Yeah, I was watching Creepy Miguel from Miguel TV. San Miguel TV. He had a little panel going with former ICGJC members. And if you got to, I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of jumped around. These guys are all fucked up in the head, man. I was listening to, I'll give you I'll find a video, I'll give it to you. I said, I'm looking at these guys are fucked up in the head, man. This is why Creepy Miguel keeps talking about Israel, because, you know, the comfy fucked his head up so bad where he don't even believe in the Most High. But yet he still talks about that. And he comes at us. We didn't do nothing wrong to you, man. You fucking weirdo. But anyway, these was dudes that were part of this thing. There was one dude that he was saying how they had these guys doing push-ups on their knuckles out in the field. And I guess that's how they punish you. They had these guys, it was a cult. It was truly a cult where they had you busy, you know, doing something for the school all day, every day. And they were under the spell. And they would say, if you leave this truth, you're going to get struck by lightning. They put that fear tactic in you. So these were weak-minded dudes, including you, Miguel. You're a weak-minded dude. They had brothers that came into this truth and had women that weren't in the truth, that these guys were convinced their women to come to the school, and they would join the school and, you know, be husband and wife and have children. And they're saying to this day, they have, not all of them, some of them on the panel, there was a couple of them that says to this very day, their women that they brought into the school are still with the church, even though they're not with the church, and their children are still in the church, and they believe this shit. They got them thinking that Comfy's going to rise from the dead. So if that's not a cult, I don't know what it, when I say a cult, a religious demonic cult. Cult means worship, right? So my thing is, first of all, number one, nigga, I ain't going to bring my woman to the truth. I'm going to teach her the truth. What did the Apostle Paul say? Let your woman learn in silence. If she asks anything, let her ask her husbands at home. What was Paul saying? Keep your woman home. Or if you're in the church, shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing. If you got a question, when you get home, ask your husband. Then they'll come back and ask the teacher. Because the church of Corinth was all out of order. They had women equal to men. They had women over men. They had women calling themselves teaching men. It was all out of order, man. You had men with long hair. So I'm pretty much ranting, brother. I'm going into different things. But if that would have happened to me, first of all, I'm not going to bring my woman to the school to be a student. And I'm going to say this. These women that are with the school guarantee you they with another dude, you know, with her ass up, arched. You know what I mean. They got her arched up. And getting it in. So that's adultery right there. But they justify it because they say, well, these guys fell out the truth. So this doesn't apply to them. But what you should have did was, number one, you fucking boneheads, you shouldn't have let your women come to the school. You should have taught them at home. But since they did that and they left you and they left with the children and they still in that school or that cult, you should have got fucking medieval on the ass. But you ain't going to do that because you have no backbone. You have no backbone. You have no spine. You lack intestinal fortitude. You lack courage. You know, you have too much estrogen in your system and not enough what do you call it? Testosterone. You got to build your testosterone up. I'm gonna give you a little. I'm throwing something at you. Get some boron. Start taking boron. Six milligrams of boron a day. It'll build your testosterone. And do squats, and then you get your testosterone, your testosterone back. Look, if that shit was to happen to me with my woman, I would go medieval on these niggas, ninja style, you know. But your guys are fucking. Y'all have no backbone. You have no back spine. You know? And that's why they keep having them gatherings and talking about it, because they still got nightmares about that shit. The dude said that they had him out there doing push-ups all day in the field. There were fire ants, and these fire ants was eating these niggas' knuckles up. And they were just, I said, first of all, what does doing push-ups in a fucking field getting eaten by fire ants have anything to do with the gospel? When did the Lord ever told the disciples, okay, we're going to have you out there in the field doing push-ups and shit? You know? I used to teach, I had some brothers together. We had the boxing gloves. We went to the little martial arts in Central Park years ago. But I never fought. I said, if you want to come, you can come. If you don't got to come. And certain brothers came, and they were telling other brothers, oh, this is pretty good. They started coming, and we would do exercises, but I would do exercises with them. And I didn't say you got to do 100 push-ups or I'm going to kick you in that. None of that shit. We just learned a little bit of martial arts. A little bit. We had the boxing gloves with the headgear, and you had to spar. You had to spar. But anyway, I wanted to look up the word degenerate. And these guys, I still get nightmares. I can't get out. My mind. And then you had this guy, Creepy Miguel. I think he took some classes on how to what's the term? Detoxify yourself. And then these clowns, they leave that school. And they still teaching the same. They teaching that this guy Jerome. If you could tell me what that's from a movie, if you could tell me what movie that's from, you're good. Jerome. Anyway, what was his name? Rakar Karab, which is a spiritual sword. And he was going into the Virgin Mary thing, you know, that Mary was a virgin. So that's still in your head. Oh, and then he was saying, well, Abba can't be Elijah. But my question to you, and you sounded sincere, brother. I looked in your eyes. You came off as very sincere. So I'm not knocking you that way. But Abba is Elijah. Because if he's not Elijah, somebody's got to be Elijah. Somebody's got to be Elijah. This truth that we got came from our teachers, you know, starting with Masha, Arya, Yaikwab, then the rest of the 7. But what did the 3 learn from? They came up under Abba. They didn't come up under Rabbi Matthews, which the commandment keepers, they never touched the New Testament. It was Abba that went into the New Testament. So they don't believe in the Messiah. So anyway, I'm all over the place, but yeah, watch the video with a Creepy Miguel. Yeah, he fucked up in the head, man. And see, you, instead of focusing on, you know, the ICGJC, you're going to come, you know, mess with other Israelite camps. Look, you bug out. Just keep walking, all right? He did a video showing that as the Hebrew Israelite deception of Christ being black. Then he says in the video, this knucklehead, he says, well, I don't believe Christ is black. I don't believe Christ is white either. Well, he had to look like something. He had to look, what was he? Was he Chinese? Was he this? Was he rainbow colored? But you ain't going to make a video saying the Roman Catholic and Christian deception of a white Jesus. You ain't coming against Esau. And all you guys that fall off and go back into the world, you don't got nothing bad to say about Esau. Well, you don't believe, well, we used to believe that the white man were Edomites, but I came to my senses. So let's look up the word degenerate. I'm ranting, but that's all right too. So war, it means degenerate. And we know that degenerate is. A degenerate is somebody like a guy that just he's bugged out. He got a good job. He loses his job. He gets on drugs. He's on the street. He's homeless. His wife leaves with the children. You know, he's eating out of garbage can. That means you have become a degenerate. You know. You went backwards. You went backwards. So, you know, that's what that means. ICG. That's why it's ICGJC is just a little church. It's not. When you think about Hebrew Israelites, you think about IUIC, ISUPK, Sakari, GMS, and we don't do that. We're not gonna have nobody out in the field doing 150 push-ups while fire ants are biting the shit out them. And you got and another thing, the thing with the wife, like I said, if you was a real man, you wouldn't bring your wife in the truth. And being that what your wife did, you would get medieval on these niggas. But you're not, because you don't have a backbone. You don't have a backbone, man. And you got Jakes out there, they coming back into that ancient spirit, brother. If you dealing with a woman that's another man's woman, a lot of these men will kill you and kill the wife, man. That ancient spirit, hey, that's all I see among Jake. If I go to the hood, Jake got beards. That's the whole thing. Jake got beards now. What is that, a spirit? Most High put the spirit on them to grow beards. They don't know why they're growing beards. Go in the hood. I don't know about California. I don't know about Chicago. But in New York, you go to the hood, New York, go to the Bronx, go to Harlem. Even them Latin tribes, they're growing beards. That's a shit. 20, 30 years ago, they look at you like you homeless or weirdo. It's the thing to grow beards. Now, a lot of men, a lot of dudes in the hip hop world, they growing beards. Some of them sisters are actually growing beards. Oh yeah, they talk about our women, man. The black woman is a degenerate. Stay away from her. If you're gonna deal with anybody, deal with like one of the Latin tribes, or even deal with an Edomite woman that's decent. When I say Edomite woman, I'm talking about an Irish woman or an Italian woman or a Portuguese woman that got flavor, because they're really Israelites that look like Edomites. But anyway, where was I gonna go? Oh, these dudes are wandering souls. Let me go to that, because they're in limbo. These guys on the panel, on Creepy Miguel's panel, they're in limbo. They're wandering souls. They don't know what to do. You know, they're disenchanted with the whole Israel thing. So they say, we're not Israelites no more. We're just black people, and Puerto Ricans. And we used to think that the white men, one of the dudes said that, we used to actually think that the white men were Edomites. We found out that they're not Edomites, and there's nothing. Oh, there's the main guy. The main degenerate, right? The new degenerate is this guy, Bishop Jessup. he went from you know, a WWE wrestler. I mean, he would have been perfect on the WWE. He said, "Here comes the Israelites," beating people up in the audience. "I'm ready to take you on, man. I'm going to kill you, man. I'm going to beat you, man." He had a whole different spirit when he got on Vocab's show. And now he's a Christian. The white man can make it. The white other nations can make it. So the Most High then took him out the picture. He's circling the drain. All right? What do you call that? Circling the drain? STD. Circling the drain. Now, what did I say? Oh, I was going to go to Jude. I didn't have no precepts lined up, but so Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 20 and 21. Anybody goes into Romans chapter 11 about the Gentiles, I magnify my office. I am the apostle of the Gentiles. Therefore I magnify my office. Gentiles being grafted in contrary to nature are talking about Israelites. The 7 used to teach that I was talking about Edomites. So they went off on a lot of things. Now, you know what I want to do? Like I said, these guys are I don't want to read the whole thing. Let's try this. Bear me for a minute. Like I said, I don't want to read this whole thing. Let me start at 5. Jude 1 verse 5. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this. That's reincarnation right there. How that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believe not. Now this is also in Paul spoke about this in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. So the majority of the people that came, matter of fact, all of them that came from Egypt to the other side, Jerusalem, to the promised land, that generation was all taken out. The people that came, the Israelites that came into the promised land, were the sons and grandsons and the granddaughters that came into it. The only ones that made it from one side to the other was the 2 spies of courage. They had backbones, Joshua and Caleb. Moses didn't even make it there because Moses went on into this thing about the rock, like he was God, and the Most High said, he said, guess what? See that land right there? That's where the Israelites are going. Guess what? You ain't going. So when did Moses come back? He had to come back as a newborn baby. And the angels were kept, and the angels which kept not their first estate, the angels' first estate are us in the spiritual realm. When you die, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, you can read that whole chapter, but the first verse down, going down to the 11th verse or so, you get the point. When we die, our spirits, our bodies go to the ground, and our spirits go to the spiritual realm. None of us go to heaven. None of us go to sleep and go wind up in hell. Nobody goes to hell. Esau doesn't go to hell because there's no such thing as hell. Hell is the grave. And that's a new demon popping up that even or high priest Kazak said there is an actual place called hell. That was never taught by the One West. That showed you that the Most High is not dealing with high priest Kazak. He said a bunch of things that he went off on. Oh, the 12 tribes is wrong. The 12 tribe sign is wrong. He said Reuben should be on top. Dan should be on the sign. So I did a video on featuring Matthew's 13. You can start at the 11, 12, 13 verse, where the Most High said he spoke in parables, because it was only given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but unto them it was not given. And whatsoever he had, you should have more abundancy. But what you don't have, I'm merely paraphrasing, I will take it away, even that thou have. So that's why you got Kazak came out of nowhere trying to get a following, because he's saying, I'm going to bring the order back. Well, you're going to have guys following you. There's a lot of simpletons out there, man. The people that's going to follow you are the simple ones. The simple believeth every word. So he's going to get a little following. But I guarantee you, these are some simple-minded dudes, maybe former members of GMS, former members of Sakari. You know? Oh, we get to go on to one of the seven. And look, this guy's over Tahar and all of them, and Sakari and Bishop Nate and all of them, and Johanna, because he's one of the seven. Well, guess what? Yes, he was one of the seven, which was made up by man. That ain't in the scriptures. The Most High is dealing with the 12. It said, the angels which kept not their first estate, which is the spiritual realm, which we were in. When you die, you go back into the spiritual realm, and you come back again as a newborn baby. But left their own habitation, which is heaven, he have reserved in everlasting chains. The chains are the bodies that we're in. That's why we get sick. That's why we die. Because we're terrestrial. Terrestrial man, their parts break down just like a car. You got a car, you drive a certain amount of time, the car ain't running right, you take it to the mechanic says, well, the alternator's gone, you need a new alternator. Put an alternator in there. Your starter, you need a starter. Your O2 sensor. You need it's driving sluggish. Yeah, that's your O2 sensor, and that's your catalytic converter. And while you at it, change the muffler. You know, or you need a tune-up. So that's why when you hit a certain age, when you hit 70s, 80s, you back and forth in the hospital because some parts are breaking down. It says that the parts in your body. So you die, you go back in the spiritual realm, and you become an angel. We are the angels that left our first estate. It said he have reserved in everlasting chains, which is the bodies, under darkness. Darkness meaning we didn't know that we were Israelites. So we woke up out of that darkness. The Most High gave us the light unto the judgment of the great day. The judgment of the great day is getting ready to come. Scriptures speak about wars and rumors of wars. Man, over there in the land of Israel, that's a hot war right there. And it only took it was like that's complete. Look, the Israeli government declared war against Hamas, but they really declared war against the Palestinian people. Now there's reports that they're blowing up Greek Orthodox churches, and the whole world is gathering together. The majority of the people of the earth, they're protesting the thing, and they're taking the side of the Palestinians, not the side of the Hamas, but the side of the Palestinians, because a lot of they're civilians. You know what you're gonna do if somebody says, "Okay, you got to leave your house"? Where the fuck you gonna go? And you got to go to the south. So this is getting built up, so the world sees it. You can't pull the wool over everybody's eyes like you used to. So the world is protesting the Israeli government, and who's the number one government that's backing them up? The U.S. Not Germany, not the other nations, the other European nations. It's the U.S. So if you're going to be against Israel, you're going to be against the U.S. which is back in Israel. That's why ultimately these European nations are going to shoot missiles on this place. Revelation 17:12 verse around there. Now we were listening to Bishop Nathaniel. He was going into a lot of revelation, a lot of prophetic scriptures. And this, you know what this guy said? Show you that the Most High is not dealing with him. He said that America is going to be destroyed. He went into scriptures. Then he said Germany is going to be destroyed. Europe is going to be, there ain't going to be no more Europe. And ain't going to be no more. I said, where's that in the scriptures? Europe is going to be intact. It's going to get hit. It's going to be war torn, but it's going to be built back up. He's saying, well, it ain't going to be no more Europe. It ain't going to be. That's not in the scriptures, man. Oh, another video, he said there ain't going to be no islands. If you go to the islands are going to be gone. No more Puerto Rico. So this guy is going off. Then you got guys in the background saying, that's right. Bring it out, brother. That's right. The Europe is not going to be destroyed. They'll be war torn, but they're not going to be destroyed. Russia's not going to be destroyed. It will be war torn, but the only place that's going to be destroyed, that's why in Isaiah chapter 13, it speaks about the whole land. The whole land meaning Babylon the Great, the U.S., not no Europe. And then you got other bishops. You got Yahweh-Shop. Yahweh-Shop should have said, well, wait a minute, man, you're going off on that. Because they follow him as a supreme leader. And see, that's not balanced. Because if I'm going off on something, Apostle Gabar going to say, well, Tahar, you went off on that. Or vice versa. Brother, you broke it down wrong. I'll do it right on camera. Look, brother, you went off on that. You got to check people, man. So it says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal life. Now this was also said by Peter in 2 Peter, 2 Peter 2 verse 6, that the example was Sodom and Gomorrah, the 5 cities, mainly Sodom and Gomorrah. He said, this is an example for you that are ungodly. Like, look, you better be right with the Most High. You better keep the Most High's laws. Keep none of that, Romans 1:25 nonsense. None of that Skittle stuff. And other things that you do wickedly. See, Babylon is completely wicked. Babylon is nothing but a big Sodom and Gomorrah. That's all it is. It's Sodom and Gomorrah all over again. So how was Sodom and Gomorrah taken out? The same way Babylon is going to be taken out. If you go to Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 53, Isaiah 13, Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's got to come to pass because the Most High said it. If he said it, it's going to happen. So here you got Bishop Nate talking about, well, we ain't going to see Europe no more. Europe is going to be gone. Germany is going to be gone. France is going to be gone. All them places are going to be gone. Doesn't say that, man. When it's go back to Isaiah 13 again, it says the whole land. What whole land? The U.S. Because those other nations, European nations, Arab nations, Moab, they're the ones that's going to be afar off looking at the smoke coming up. They're not going to be looking around. Well, over here you got smoke coming up. Over there in France you got smoke coming up. No. The whole land. Destroy the whole land. The continent of the U.S. will be utterly destroyed. It will become a desert. Germany's not going to become a desert. The rest of Europe is not going to become a desert. Great Britain is not going to become a desert. It's going to be re-inhabited. And plus, those lands are the lands of the sons of Japheth. So where are they going to live? And Esau, Isaiah chapter 14, says they're not going to have no land. They ain't going to have a place to be buried. They're not going to have their land. Who's going to take the land? Judah's going to take that land. That's in Amos 9, and really it's in Obadiah. Amos 9 too. All right? that we're going to take their land, because Esau is going to be scattered around the Israelites, wherever they may be, and they're going to be slaves under them. The mother nations are not going to get it as bad like Esau, but they're going to get it bad too. It says, and going after strange flesh are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. What does it mean by eternal fire? There's a simple one that's talking about hell. You're going to burn in hell forever. Eternal fire is talking about the place where the worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched, which is Babylon the Great. This is I'm quoting Howard Shai. What was he talking about when he said that? He was talking about Babylon the Great. He was talking about the U.S. And these elite of the U.S., the elite of Esau, they know that this is Babylon the Great because they watch us. And the super elite, they're not even in America. They're in Europe because they know Europe is not going to be hit like that. It'll be worn, torn, but it's not going to be destroyed. It's a suffering the vengeance of eternal life. Likewise, also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities. Yet Michael, the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses. Durst, which showed you what? Moses goes back how many years? Okay, from this time, well, from now, we're talking like 5,000 plus years. When Moses had passed, Satan tried to take his body, but the angel Michael came down and rebuked him. And that shows you what? Angels don't get old. Angels do not get spirits don't get old. You can't destroy a spirit. So how old is Michael? He's thousands of years old. He's been around from the beginning. It said, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, Yahweh rebuked thee. But these speak evil of those things which they know not. Now you coming against us, the leadership of GMS. You're coming against the true men of the Most High. And then among the others major groups out there, there's the true men of the Most High among them too, if they're teaching the truth right. But they got to get the truth 100% correct. It says, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, in those things they corrupt themselves. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Corey, Abiram, and Corey, Dayton, and Abiram. They came up against Moses, and Moses said, let the Lord judge between me and thee. And the ground opened up and swallowed them and their families and closed back up again. Okay, where we at? These are spots in your feast of charity. These are guys that came in and fell out. Most High gonna make them. Most High gonna put a spirit on them to take the charagma, and then they're gonna eat a missile, and they're not gonna leave Babylon. Or when they feast with you, feed themselves without fear. See, you got to have fear for this thing. And I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, that the GMS camps are the only camps in New York going out. None of them camps is going out, to my knowledge. If you go back like 15, 16 years ago, you had all kind of camps out there, man, especially on the weekend, because most people don't work on the weekend, on Saturdays. So them guys ran out of gas because they had no oil. Matthew 25. It said, clouds they are without water, carried about of winds. What does Ephesians 4 say? 11th verse on down. Every wind of doctrine. So they carried about of winds, which is doctrines, trees whose fruit withered, without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots. So once the Most High does that to you, you can't come back because there's no roots. There's nothing to grow with. It says, raging waves of the sea, foaming out their shame, wandering stars, wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever, meaning you don't know who you are. At one time you knew you were an Israelite, now you're not an Israelite. And ever just means a long time, until the Most High wakes you up. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lust, doing their own thing. And their mouth speaking great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage. So you got so-called high priest Gazak. That fits him. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lusts, and their mouth speaking great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage. Fair words, fine speeches. So you're going to get people following Gazak. That's one of the seven. Like I said, that's one of these. He's over the rest of them. He's over Johanna. He's over Tahar. He's over Nathaniel. He's over this guy. He's over Sakari. They got to all come under him. Yeah, you're going to come under him because you're simple. The simple believeth every word. But anyway, I'm gonna close it.